Hi guys, it's Finn. I wanted to make a video about pronouns because I've become aware of something recently that I'd quite like to share. Now being on T for almost 6 months, I am being read correctly most of the time. I'm being read as the man that I am, and that's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Pre-T, you know, I'd walk around in the world and often people would say sir, but then I'd open my mouth and they'd go, sorry, madam, they'd correct themselves. That isn't happening anymore. I'm very, very rarely misgendered in public now. And on the rare occasion it happens, I tend to just go, which then makes them go, oh, sorry, sir, because I just look so confused. Either that or I look over my shoulder to think, oh, they're talking to someone else, and then they correct themselves, you know. So it's not very often that I'm actually misgendered. What I'm noticing, though, is the misgendering is coming from people I know. Now, this is kind of... all my very close friends are just completely 100% used to it and call me he, and that's fine. I'm talking here kind of more acquaintances, kind of especially people in AA, who knew me pre-transition as she, and are still getting used to it. Now, because before testosterone, it was more apparent in the outside world with strangers getting misgendered. I hadn't noticed the few odd people that were still mistakenly calling me she. But now that it's swapped, that in the real world, outside world, stranger world, I'm being correctly gendered, it's now sticking out like a sore thumb, the odd few people that are still kind of calling me she in AA and other kind of like social circles. It's weird. It really throws me. Friday morning, this chap was talking to me and kind of talking about me in the third person, saying, oh, I saw her coming down the road and wondered what she was doing. I'm like, what? But anyway, I know that people mean no malice when they do this. It's just purely people trying to get their heads around it. If you see me all the time, you get your head around it. But if you don't see me all the time, then, you know, there's still that going on. However, I learnt something over the last couple of weeks that's really been useful, actually. Because I do correct people that I know anyway. I don't usually correct strangers. Well, actually I do sometimes, just by my confused look. What? Yeah, I worry about correcting people because I don't like to kind of embarrass them or upset them, because I know that they don't mean it on purpose, they're just trying to get used to it. So I just kind of gently say, it is she, sorry, it is he, it's not she. And people are okay about it, but I always feel really awkward. But anyway, I did a couple of shares over the last couple of weeks in AA, and basically when you've been sober a while, you kind of give a talk for 20 minutes about your experience with alcohol and how you've got better and how you kind of keep sober. So I've been doing some of those, and I always share about my transition when I'm talking, because it's really, you know, for me it's a vital part of what recovery is, enabling you to kind of like manage the more difficult things in life. So I always mention my transition. And at the end of these shares, I've had people come up to me and go, oh, it's really lovely to hear you, because it's really nice to know that, you know, it is he that I'm supposed to say. I was worried about whether I was doing it right or not, so it's good to know. A lot of people have come up and said, you know, so it's definitely he now. And I think there was this kind of idea that they had to wait to a certain point in my transition where I had to say he, or I just didn't want to be rude, because I think, well, I know that in our society it's so wrong to get someone's gender wrong, especially somebody that's perceived female. To be called he is just a complete social no-no. So, as I said, it's not done out of malice, but what I'm actually realising is people genuinely want clear guidance, because they just do not know and they don't want to offend. So there was me wandering around thinking, oh, this person's called me she again, I don't really want to upset them. They actually welcome it, they actually welcome you going up and saying, it's actually he, not she, you know? So that's been a real revelation this week, and it is mostly women that get it wrong. The men are just like, he's a bloke, call him he, end of. Whereas I think women are more conscious of the kind of like social etiquette that goes on, and you know, they kind of worry about getting it wrong, whereas men are kind of more cut and dry, because it's the men actually in AA especially that are correcting the women when they're still calling me she. So yeah, that was just my little random thought that I wanted to share, that firstly, most of the time, I mean, I've never had the problem where people have refused to call me he. It's usually just mistake. They've been used to calling me she for such a long time, so getting used to calling me he has been difficult. So anybody out there that's struggling with this issue, because I know how horrible it is, I know how much it destroys a whole day when someone says she. It's just absolutely horrible. It's just, yes, I know, but just try and breathe and remember that they're just used to calling you she, so it's nothing personal. And also remember that don't feel awkward about saying, can I please remind you that I like to be referred to as he, because as I found out this last couple of weeks, people really do welcome that guidance. Who'd have thought it? I've been living as male for almost 2 years. You'd think they'd kind of get it, but as I say, it comes from a place of not wanting to upset or offend. So people welcome you telling them. So just tell them. Don't kind of sit there in silence feeling awful. Just have a quiet word with someone, say, it is he. Or just make a statement in a group, whatever. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share. That's it. Yeah. I hope that helps. Take care, everybody. I will check in soon. Bye-bye.